us we're good, but everything on Facebook is telling me that Zuckerberg has a chode for us today.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll keep pushing. We'll keep pushing. We will push on through. But yes, that is our rotation for the week. And thank you to all of our listeners, all 80,000 of you who join us on a weekly basis. We appreciate the love and support. Make sure if you haven't already, you go to the page, Facebook page, and you hit the invite friends and invite all your friends so they can join our conversation and they can join our programming and they can get on the spot dings or reminders every time we go live. So make sure we can do that to the groups as well that allow us to post on their platforms. We appreciate that as well. And on that note, let's get into it.
Yes,
Conspiracy History Thursday. And from what I hear, we got some shit to talk about.
yes.
So we shall talk about shit because that is what we do. Oh, shouts out to the TBD group sports show last night. We were wrong button, but it's never wrong when you burn. So on that note,
When you burn, you
When
must
you-
remember to burn.
yeah, you gotta purr because if you don't purr more than once, then you're just purr,
Shame on you.
and nobody wants to just be purr.
Right. Want to be burn.
Because you always gonna be purring, you know. But yes, like I was saying, shouts out to the TBD Sports Show crew. Yesterday, our one and only Solo G got chastised and belittled and ground to the floor. He had to step away, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
He had to take a walk. He made it halfway to Racine,
He was
and
trying-
then he turned back around and rejoined us.
He tried to call for reinforcements.
He tried.
But they were already stuck at the toll.
They threw up gang signs. They hooted and hollered,
He was like, I don't
but
want
they
that.
realized that gangs ain't the same as they were back in '96.
Way back in
Yeah.
94.
Now all they yell out is gang,
Right.
but they're not about that gang
About that
shit.
gang shit.
And it showed. They got swept. Yeah, it wasn't a sweep. It was a gentleman's sweep. But like Solo G says, the G stands for gout. No, gout. Gout. Swelling of the toe. No, we kid. It was a good time being out there. It was a little chilly, but, you know, shouts out to Ricardo Amor. Kept us nice and toasty there for a little bit. Shouts out to Jeannie for always coming through in the clutch and bringing us chow and drinks and, man, just being amazing. We appreciate your love and support always. But, yeah, man, it was fun. The crowd, you know, the Bulls fans, the Bucks fans, the hired security guys that just would show up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When the Bulls fans would come through, it was like just out of nowhere, the guy, the Cape Crusader, would fucking fly through and say, "Oh, fuck the Bulls!"
Oh, yeah.
Ah!
What you got to understand here in Milwaukee is when you come to an actual Bucks game, you'll have a bunch of people here, you know, cheering on Giannis, cheering on Cash Money Middleton. And you'll have people, of course, that tune in and cheer for Drew Holiday. But there is another section that you have to respect here when you come to Milwaukee. And truly, this athlete deserves this section because he is a spark plug for this group. I'm talking about Portis Security. That's right. There is a large number
Uncle
of people
Bobby!
who back Uncle Bobby. And those are Uncle Bobby's nephews and nieces. The nieces and nephews of our Uncle Bobby Portis Jr. They will be there cheering. And nobody, and I repeat, nobody disrespects Bobby.
Nobody. And usually, they're white guys that wear black Air Force Ones.
Oh yeah, that's the scary part. Everybody that backs Uncle Bobby wear black Air Forces
Yep.
in respect to Uncle Bobby Portis Jr. And as a matter of fact, when he's out there and he does that shimmy, oh man, you say something wrong about Bobby, you liable to call home and let him know you ain't making it.
You ain't making it.
You ain't coming home.
You're gonna be in the river.
Your kid will be taken. And if not taken, it'll be told. Because nobody disrespects the nieces and nephews' Uncle Bobby Portis Jr. Okay? So when you come here, come correct. Because Uncle Bobby got people out here. He got a clan of folks, a whole army that back Bobby. So I'm glad. I love it. I love Bobby Portis' energy. I love the fact that he has diehard fans that are welcoming and open of all shades, all races, all creeds and religions, and they back him. They rep hard. Like you said, Black Air Forces. I ain't seen J.R. Smith with no shit like that.
Hell no.
Some scary
Shouts
shit.
out to J.R. Smith, though.
Shout out to him.
Shouts out. Valedictorian or not valedictorian, but top of his class and athletic athlete of the month, or I think he got the top athlete for his college for golf. Yep. So he's acing all of his classes. He's the top of the class, and on top of that, he's the top athlete
That's good, man.
in the golf program. That's
Respect to J.R. Smith because, you know what I'm saying, after the league, you know, you wonder what's next. And those are questions you got to answer. And he's defining that right now for himself. And that's great, you know. When I see him in interviews and he's talking about what he's learned and the mistakes he's made and what he could have done better and everything like that, it's great to see, but it's great to see him moving in a direction that carries him in a positive light. You know? It's great. That's great for him. You know what athlete is not having a great life after this? That would be the Utah Jazz's assistant coach, Keon Doolin.
not familiar.
Well, the Utah Jazz are in the playoffs.
Okay.
They're actually in the series right now against Dallas. And he was arrested yesterday.
What'd he do?
Apparently, he was arrested on charges of fraud.
Ooh.
On the NBA's, I want to say their health and medical fraud case from when he was leader of the Players Association Union.
Oh, wow.
Him, 13 other former players, as far as staff and other people, are brought up on charges of actually committing fraud that allowed players to be paid illegally and benefit. It's like a benefit fraud. So there's a really crazy case coming down the pipeline, and he was arrested right after the game.
Oh, shit.
And you know, he's facing a really heavy court case for that. Him and 13 other players that were named and some staff members as well, not from the Utah Jazz, but from people who was in
Just in the league
union.
period?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's a union matter. So it was like when he was the head of the union for 13 years, he actually helped some, or not, I'm not saying he actually did it, but allegedly he helped and allowed some fudging of books in order for players to benefit and people to benefit from, you know, benefit packages that were made, you know, specifically for health benefits and medical benefits and stuff like that. So some books got fudged, some money was misappropriated, and he's facing charges along with 13 former players and a couple other staff of that
Era?
regime that he was under. So that's heavy because he was the assistant coach for Utah Jazz in the playoffs. You know, like he's been there for a while, and he wants to get the cuff slapped on you in the middle of a fucking playoff series.
Yeah. Man, that's got to be rough for the team.
Yeah.
Team morale, probably wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I mean, Utah went through a lot this year as far as for if they were even going to make it to the playoffs. And they did. And they're here. And, you know, you're going up against Dallas and, you know, you're playing against Luka Doncic, who was, you know, hurt for a while, but then he comes back and he's out there just embarrassing the fuck out of people like he's Billy Hoyt from fucking White Man Can't Jump. And now you got this. You know what I'm saying? So, sucks for the team.
Yeah.
Sucks for the team. It sucks because, you're trying to keep your superstar happy. And from the looks of it, it's like, man, we're going to have to blow this team up. Nobody's going to be willing to stay here.
I blame Vivint Home Security Systems based out of Utah.
Vivint?
Yes.
Vivint Home Security Systems is to blame for this.
Yep.
Why Vivint?
Because they're based in Utah. That's why.
You know what I blame this on? This has to go back to those two idiots that fucking tried to kill Michael Jordan during the finals. With the fucking laced pizza. Those sons of bitches. That used to be a conspiracy theory for the longest until ESPN and everybody confirmed it finally on The Last Dance as, yes, someone actually tried to poison Michael Jordan's pizza the night before they played the Utah Jazz. And everybody called it the flu game, but it wasn't a flu game. Michael Jordan played while poisoned. They had to literally do what they could to pump his stomach, get the poison out, and him play with literally no nutrients other than liquids that they were just feeding him because he couldn't hold anything down.
Okay, quick question.
Okay.
If you think about golf, who you think of?
Michael Jordan. I think of Michael Jordan betting $100,000 that Barkley fucks up his play. And everybody taking that bet except Barkley and then winning. And Barkley saying, fuck y'all terrible. That's what I think of when I think of golf. When I think of golf, I think of Happy Gilmore.
Right.
And Shooter McGavin. Bang, bang.
Oh, man.
That was a lot of that. I should have forgot.
No. Can I talk?
Let me stop you for a second.
Can I talk?
When you think of condoms, what else comes to mind? Michael Jordan, of course.
Space Jam.
Space Jam, duh. There was a lot of that being tossed around, which was hilarious.
There's nothing better than delusional Bulls fans and delusional fucking Bears fans. There's nothing better. There's nothing better because they always walk away with their head down, reminiscing of the glory days. Except for the Bears fans because they haven't had a glory day since '85.
No, they haven't.
And that wasn't even really a glory day. I think that was like an off year.
And it happened so long ago that none of them can remember.
No.
None of them are alive today to remember. They're all kids and babies that were told these stories and passed down. They were like, yeah, it was great. No. Our quarterback was He-Man, and we went up against Skeletor, and we threw it to Castle Grayskull, and we won. Why? Because we had Man-at-Arms as a defensive tackle. Like, shut up.
And they shuffled.
Right, shut up.
We had a refrigerator.
Right. It was a talking refrigerator, as a matter of fact. Like their whole memory.
And then we moved to Chicago that following year. What do you mean? We weren't even here for the championship? No.
They have no recollection of the time period, the date, what it was like. If it snowed, right. They have no idea
what episode the Cosby Show was on.
They only remember the year because they told them.
Right.
That's it. Had there never been a 30 for 30, they would have never remembered what year they won it. It'd have been like 83 or 84. Neither. It was neither. It was neither of those years.
75.
Trust me. At least with the Bears fans, they don't have knowledge to remember or they're not alive to remember it. But these Bulls fans, oh my God. The Last Dance, as great of a documentary as it was a detriment to every fucking sports fan in basketball because it gave Bulls fans, oh, well, see, it happened just like this. And all they do is quote what they saw in The Last Dance.
And then they played quarters in the locker room, and Jordan lost.
Look, I love that documentary. I love that Bulls team. That was a true dynasty. There's a lot that can be said about how great of a team that was. But there's a key word there. Was. None of you Young Bulls fans, I'm sorry. You can't tell me about what it was like to be there. I was there. I was there. Trust me. As great of a team as the Bulls were, and they were great, the rest of us that was there during that time felt as just like how we feel today about the Lakers today. It wasn't like Jordan had all that hate back then that motherfucking LeBron gets today. We hated the fact that we'd had to play Jordan. Mm-hmm. We didn't hate him and say, oh, he's a terrible fucking player. No, we knew he was great. We knew he couldn't be stopped. We was like, shit, stop everybody else. Like, please, kill it. Beat them niggas, man. Nobody tried to poison fucking LeBron James.
No.
Nobody tried to do that shit because they knew by the fourth quarter they got a chance. Like, shit. We saw Jordan play a whole team by himself, lose, and then learn, I have to make them better. Now, when you look at today's league, we look at LeBron, and they say LeBron can do it all damn near by himself. How does that logic go out the window? Especially during the time when Kobe was in the league making his team better. Like, we look at LeBron and we're like, LeBron has to learn how to make the team better. He has to learn how to facilitate, how to make them play to his level. While the rest of you are like, all you need is LeBron. He'll do everything. And then he loses as much as he loses, and we're supposed to say he's great. No, it don't work like that. No, it don't work that way.
I'll give him that. He's a phenomenal businessman. He's a phenomenal all-around athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But GOAT?
No.
Nah, B.
No.
Nah, B.
No.
For me, obviously, like I said, I really don't speak on the old school because I really didn't know that. Because obviously around that time when the Lakers and all that shit, I was in a whole different my genealogy was in a whole different part of the world where basketball wasn't even a thing. You know, so I don't really consider any of those guys, even though they might be legends and they might be, you know, greats in their respective field. But for me, from my experience, if you have to put people in a sequence, it would definitely always be Jordan, you know, because that was what it was when I was growing up.
So in your mind, Jordan is number one.
Jordan would be number one, with a very close Kobe Bryant at number two for me. Rounding out number three, that's up for debate. I really don't foresee anybody else. I would say maybe like a Steph Curry, like more of the modern school. Like if you had to progress me as a fan, you know, I'll definitely go in that order. You know, Shaq somewhere, maybe in the fourth position, you know, championship-wise and accolades-wise. You know, and then I would put a LeBron, you know. But never would I include him in my top three, top tier, you know, in that regard. Even though he has the accolades, he has a championship, he has, you know, but like you said, those losses really hinder him, you know, because it's a lot of them. It's not like I lost and I got better and I figured it out. Like, no,
Right.
You've lost as much as you won. So
Actually, more. He's lost more than he won.
Yeah.
But here's my top three, and I'm glad you said this. At third, I'm going to say Kobe. Second, I'll give it to Michael. But number one, and I know a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to be like, oh, get the fuck out of here.
Bango.
Nah. But close. Very close. Because there's a reason why Bango was here in the first place. My number one, whether any of you want to respect it or not, is Kareem. And here's why I say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I got to say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not only by statistics, not only by his championship wins, not only by the length of which he played, because I know people will say, well, Bill Russell was better. And I agree with you. Bill Russell did win way more championships. But
did he play when they had like the baskets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Bill Russell is the reason why Boston won as many titles as it did.
But that was when they had like the old school like baskets, right?
Well,
Or were they rims?
The rim rims.
Okay.
Like Bill Russell brought pretty much the dunking aspect and the rebound aspect because he was all 11 of his titles came from Boston.
Now, where do we put Robin Williams and Flubber?
Nah, we're not even gonna go there. But here's why I say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is number one as a GOAT. I have to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number one as a GOAT because of this one move. There was something that Kareem brought to the league that not only could be taught, but he created something that no one in the history of the NBA has ever been able to defend. Michael Jordan is known for jumping from the free throw line. Is he not? Mm-hmm. And he's known for cocking his legs back, doing that, and bam. But he's not the only one that's been able to do that, has he? There's other players that did that before him that jumped even further than him. There are players that have jumped higher than him. So it's not like he brought that to the league. He just did it. He was one of the people that could do it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar brought the skyhook to the league. As dominant as a player as he could be, he found a way for a big man to shoot. And not just shoot, because that's something that they were not supposed to do. But he found a way to just elevate, toss, and lob a ball like a floater. He brought that to the league. And to this day, nobody has been able to defend it. People like Hakeem Olajuwon, Hakeem the Dream, have been able to perfect that move, and no one could defend it. Magic Johnson used that very same move to win a championship. Why? Because he learned it from Kareem on the same team as Kareem. There are so many players that learned that move and had to turn it into floaters. Point guards started to do it. They started to elevate it, perfect it, and innovate from it. Kareem did that. Kareem helped change the way we played basketball. Now, Bill Russell did too with his physicality and his defense. He made it possible for people like P.J. Tucker, people like Dennis Rodman, people like Charles Barkley, people like Shaq to come into the league and really get physical.
Physical.
It's because of him we love people that clean boards, that crash boards, that fucking scrape the plate, that make it hard and fucking physically impossible to just drive down into the paint and just dunk on a motherfucker.
Oh, the players that LeBron sticks his knee out and tries ending their
exactly.
careers.
But even that, Bill Russell. You got to think, if you talk about hard-nosed defense, Bill Russell. Bill fucking Russell. And you got to give credit where credit is due. The only reason I put them above, like Michael Jordan and Kobe and Kareem above Bill Russell, is because I have no footage to look back on to see how Bill Russell played. Mm-hmm. I can only respect him statistically. Now, I can look at a game that Kareem was in. I've watched some games that Kareem has played in. I've seen documentaries on Bill Russell. I've seen, them talk about it and show pictures. I've read books about him. And don't get it twisted. I respect the fuck out of Bill Russell. And I still do consider him in my top 5. But do I put Kobe and Michael Jordan above him? Yeah, I do. And the reason being is because of what I've seen them do on the court, what I've watched them do. And their numbers match that. The statistics match that. But I also have to give credit where credit is due. And Kareem edges out. Now, everybody's looking at LeBron and they're saying LeBron is about to pass Kareem in this category of scoring, and that's cool. You can score more points than Kareem. I don't doubt that. But will that make you better than Kareem? No. No. Because in all honesty, when you create a different style, when you change the game the way you have, bruh, that makes it possible for any of us to notice. That elevates the new people coming in. When I look at Steph Curry, the way he's elevated how you shoot the basketball and where you shoot it from changed the way for everybody. But he wasn't the first to do that, was he? His dad was. Like, his dad was shooting out the gym. Mm-hmm. That was just a sign of things to come. Sharif Abdul-Rahim was shooting out the gym like that. I'm sorry. Now, Steph will be great. He'll be one of the greats. Will he be the greatest of all time? Is to be determined. It is. Kobe and Jordan will have their place on that list. But when I look at number 1, I'm sorry. That's something that has not to this day been able to be defended. And now, it's changed the way people have, attacked the rim. The way people get their shots off. It made it possible for big men to be graceful. To not have to bang as hard. You can actually have to play me like a guard. And here's something you can't stop. My length, my extension, and I drop it and it touches the bottom of the net. And you can't defend it. No matter how tall you are, you can't defend it. You can't beat me doing this. Shaq had to learn that in Orlando when he played Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, and they got swept. He was out there in the paint ready to bang with Hakeem, and Hakeem danced around his ass the whole game, and Shaq was sweating his ass off. He couldn't keep up. He's like, man, I thought you stopped and post. I didn't know you ran like this. Yeah. That's Kareem. So that's what I consider the GOAT still. You can debate me on it, you can argue me all it wants, but guess what? Your best player can't defend against a fucking skyhook.
But when you think about rabbits, who do you think of?
Oh, I think of Peter Cottontail, the way he fucking robbed the fucking carrot, what's it, Gargle Patch.
Wrong.
Oh, yeah?
It's Roger.
It's Roger?
Roger.
I thought you were going to say Jordan.
Roger. Roger's the GOAT.
Roger Rabbit. Why? Because he wore Jordans.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, get into some real shit.
Yeah.
Get into some real conspiracy shit.
You're primed up and ready.
I am. Okay. So I know I didn't get to tell you, but I had 10 videos and stuff.
10?
Yeah.
There's 15 numbered in here.
Shouldn't be.
Let me refresh this.
You're in Thursday?
There we go.
Okay. Now.
Oh, wait, there's a 32 in here.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Okay. I have come across some stories, some things. Now today, we're going to talk about Twitter's new acquisition, of course, through Elon Musk. But I know we've talked about it a little bit, but there is essentially some panic going on among the masses who are very up in arms and worried about Elon Musk's intentions with Twitter. It present quite an interesting case. Plus, we're going to talk about the dark world of templates. Now, I know a lot of you haven't heard about this. Some of you have. But if you don't know, you better stay tuned because I'm going to put y'all up on some game. There is some shit going down in the celebrity world. And apparently, it's way more nefarious and sinister than we thought. Maybe Jordan Peele was up to something.
Well, I'm ready to go.
Okay. First, I want to bring you up to date with a little bit of Christianity. I want to introduce you to a group that's doing it for the Lord. And this happens to be a convent of nunnery. I don't know exactly how you say it. Nunnery, nuns, a convent of...
It's called a nunchuck.
Nunacity? A nunchuck?
A nunchuck.
So we have a nunchuck.
It's a chuck of nuns.
A chuck of nuns.
Also known as a nunchuck.
But there is a community of nuns who practice faith a little differently than what we're used to. And I thought it was very interesting. I wanted to see if you guys are aware of this group and just spend a little time, just talk about it a little bit before we move on to some stuff. But I wanted to start off with this because I thought this was very interesting. So let's check this out.
Check it out.
See what you think.
If Jesus were alive today, he would be a cannabis smoker. Us Sisters of the Valley, we are the Weed Nuns, and this is our religion. We are a group of women who live together, work together, pray together. We grow cannabis. We are advocates for the cannabis plant. Cannabis actually has done a lot for us, each and every individual sister here. It's brought us all together. We were basically throwaway women. The world didn't care about us. Each one of us at some point has been homeless in the recent past. We've had a really hard time. Yet we've all been called by the plant because it has healed each one of us or people we know. It's healed someone we know. We are now helping the world. So cannabis has done a lot for each and every sister. Listen more, care more. There's a lot going on out there. Each one of us feels like we've been put here for a purpose. We need a purpose-driven life. That's what we believe in. Sisters of the Valley believe in a purpose-driven life. Go out there and take care of others. Go out there and help others. Make this world a better place. We are foremost activists. We make CBD medicine pay for our activism so that we can go on marches or we can help people. There's things we can do in life. We're trying to fight for the little guy and advocate for the plant. A lot of people ask us, are you Catholic? Well, no, we're not Catholic. We're not affiliated with any religion. We're just a bunch of progressive spiritual women who've come together and we pray together. We say our own prayer. We are gently smashing the patriarchy by being the opposite of what a religion would be. Sisters of the Valley have customers globally, and we donate 5% monthly of each batch to patients who possibly can't afford the medication, have cancer or pancreatitis, mad headaches, all kinds of ailments people call us. The sisters, we do come out here every day and bless the plants, sage the plants, talk to them. And it's a really simple process. We make a batch every lunar cycle. We make the batches by cycles of the moon. Every new moon, when it's dark and quiet, that's when we start a new batch of medicine. At the full moon, we finish it and end up bottling it and labeling it, sealing it and sending it out for the rest of the month. Now, usually whatever we make this week is gone out next week, so everyone's receiving fresh medicine always. Our cannabis is non-psychoactive, meaning that it has less than 0.3% THC. THC is the compound that gets you high. It's a psychoactive compound. We have bred the THC out of the plant. We have high CBD content, very low THC. So none of our medicine is psychoactive. It's more like an aspirin compound or a paracetamol type thing. But it's natural. It works with the body as opposed to against it.
So, we have the Sisters of the Valley specialize in healing.
The nunnery.
Healing through the natural root of cannabis. Now, I know G started booking his flight. He was ready to go join the combat. He was ready, shit. And honestly, you know, I get it, you know, wanting to pay a visit. But for some of y'all out there who do feel, you know, very religious, very spiritual, those who are, you know, of the Christian faith and feel very strongly in that, how does one Christian feel about a group like this? Do they feel like this would be sacrilegious, or do they see the positive intention in this? Now, me personally, I'm not one of those strong, devout Christian types. I'm very spiritual. I'm very more universal and, you know, in what I believe. You know, I don't necessarily practice my faith believing in a pearly castle in the clouds where NSYNC is just there waiting for people to fucking get there so they can put on their halos and perform.
It's gonna be May.
You know, I don't believe Backstreet Boys are waiting up there to perform when the rapture happens. I like This Is the End, but I don't believe that's how it would be. I just like it and enjoy it because of how funny it looks. But for those that do feel this way, whether you're Catholic or Protestant or Baptist or Christian, how does this make your faith feel? Does this seem like something that you consider sacrilegious? Or do you feel like, no, there's space in Christianity for this too as well? That's what I'm curious about.
I don't know. I don't think I define myself as a Christian. It's weird. It's a weird definition. Because I've said it before, like, I find Jesus to be a very good guide as far as the Bible is concerned, you know. But in my current religious walk, like, that is what the vessel is to get to where I want to be, you know, with my relationship with my Creator, you know. So it's kind of,
I guess
to define it, but to a traditional list or somebody that does, you know, fully commit to that, you know, that Jesus is, you know, Jesus, there ain't no other thing,
right.
You know.
I mean, would it be hard to imagine that Jesus would be a cannabis smoker back then?
I would
think he would have been
so.
if we was around and just to pass the time.
Especially since it's a weed that is organic or original to that part of the world.
Right.
You know, the fact that we have it here in the United States is because it was brought here through trade. You know, before that, it wasn't something that was organic to this hemisphere.
Like I believe John the Baptist would have passed them a joint and be like, "Here, let me baptize you, nigga. I can do this shit right now for $250, and I send you on your way.
You know,
I can't join you, but I roll this up for you."
In the way that I see it as being sacrilegious is in the fact that if you are not of sound mind and sound spirit, it can be a hindrance on your life. You know, it can push you to harder drugs. It can push you to alcoholism. It can push you to, you know, bad decision making. Then in that regard, yes, you know, and it's necessary, just like anything.
Right.
It's like you can't have somebody that has drug problems work at a pharmacy.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, when does it make sense?
Right.
You know,
that's why I feel like of any, like you said, by that definition, someone sound of mind and body wouldn't allow them to be, you know, taken down those. It wouldn't be a gateway.
And if you're the type of person that'll blow bag in the parking lot at the church and then walk in,
right, then
you shouldn't be smoking.
Right.
Then it's, you know, for that walk of faith, because there's a deeper problem within that. You have no respect for anybody in your surroundings.
Exactly.
You know, I'm a smoker, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Right.
You know, I'm a businessman, and I hold important positions within my businesses. You know, but I'm not one that, I'm not. I'd rather not. You know, I am a smoker. but you're not gonna find me going to a client. You're not gonna find me,
It's not going to hinder.
It's not gonna hinder my business or my standing
Right.
with places. Now, if you come into my world and I'm smoking and you don't like it, then that's a personal problem.
Right.
Because I don't go to your 9 to 5 and tell you how to fucking manage your spreadsheets.
Right.
Don't come to my events and shit on my parade because I can function and toke a spliff while I'm there. That's your problem.
Right.
At least that's my take on it. When it comes to religion and to this, me as a believer or somebody that of faith, it doesn't bother me because I function and I think and I analyze and I process better when I am, under the influence of cannabis. And I've also used cannabis for medicinal purposes.
Exactly.
When I broke my feet, I used CBD on a daily basis, and that helped me out tremendously. It cut my healing time in half, so I can attest to it on the medical and the recreational side. So, I think it's a lot of control mechanisms, and this, and I feel I can speak on it because I've spoken to my pastor and the person that I go to for guidance, and he explained it as well. It's like a religion per se is a vessel that is corrupt in a sense because it tries to mold you by forcing you to believe specific ways. A person of faith is a relationship with your creator, with your God, and your God accepts you how you are, where you are, and how you come, so there's that difference,
That's
where,
fine. For me, I look at it from a realistic standpoint. When like you said, when you read those stories, when you see how that faith is presented, and then you're presented with, historical fact of what existed back then, what was around, where they were, it's not hard to imagine something like that happening. I'm not saying that in the real world today, if Jesus was around, he'd be rolling around smoking weed and shit. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying of people of that time, who's to say what they did? When we look at the Bible, especially for its stories, we have to take into account that it did exist. It was created, and then it was remastered, and then reinterpreted, and reinterpreted again, and then reinterpreted again, and then also lost because it was in a dead language, and then rewritten in a new language, and then reinterpreted, and then reinterpreted, and then given and split among two different kingdoms, and for them to reinterpret two different ways, and then that language died, and then be reinterpreted and reinterpreted and reinterpreted and reinterpreted until finally it became a bestseller.
and don't forget the slave master version.
Of course, that's what I said, reinterpreted.
Yeah.
So there's so much that has been lost in translation by the time we get a hold of it, by the time someone is there to speak on it to us. And I'm not saying that as a dig or a fucking knock on religion or especially the Christian faith. I'm just saying that plays a part in how I look at that example. So when I look at ladies like this who are doing this, I look at them based on their actions. Yes, they are cannabis smokers, but at the same time, they promote healing. They promote healing through natural medicine grown from the earth. They're not there selling weed. They're not there on the block listening to
Young Jesus,
Munchie Mogwais and shit like that. They are in their own zone, practicing their faith religiously, and they have opened their world to accept natural medicine and for everything that it's used for. And they don't smoke to be lackadaisical or just to get by. They do it as though, how in Rastafari, how they believe in smoking and how they believe in herb and marijuana. So by that respect, the same way that I respect Rastafarians in their religious faith of how they view it, and I see them practicing it the same way, I give them the same respect. And I wouldn't see any problem with that. Even if I was a Baptist or a Christian or anything like that, I couldn't look at them and say, oh, that's sacrilegious. You're wrong. I don't see anything wrong. They're preaching the same thing. But they just live a different way. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But maybe you do. And if you do, and if you feel some type of way about it, let us know in the comment section how you feel about that. Where does that sit with your faith index as a Christian or if you're not a Christian? Let us know in the comment section how you feel about that.
Yeah.
Now,
let's go outside and smoke a spliff.
We'll come back to it. Now, before we dive into our topics of the day, let's hit them with a mega mix of conspiracy shit. So let's give them 3 through 6, and then we'll dive into some Elon Musk and talk about templates.
Let's do it. Here we bombing.
Y'all should hear this conversation that my family. Check this out.
They done put me in Facebook jail.
Facebook jail?
Yeah, man.
What is that?
I can't post shit. I can't say shit. I can't see shit.
You said you got a bar?
No more.
You need a lawyer?
They say they'll talk to me about me.
What you gonna do?
We'll lay this shit out, man.
Man, how long?
Couple weeks. As long as I got some soaps, I'm alright.
Shit, I'll put something on your bush.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you see this run, you are being watched. Staircases in the woods have begun mysteriously appearing all over the world. Many reports of people dying within hours of climbing or even just touching these staircases have been reported. If you ever see these coat hangers with 2 hooks in a public place, you are being spied on. Run and report it immediately. If you ever see money left on your windshield, you are being watched. As soon as you take the money, you will be mugged, carjacked, or kidnapped.
What up, y'all? It's me, Tiffany Haddish, and I know you know it's me, but I just want to make it clear that it's me. And I have a public service announcement, or really a question to ask the United States of America. What the fuck happened to watermelon? When did it get white seeds? Where are the fucking seeds? I read in a book one time that you want to eat things that got seeds so you can be fruitful. When did watermelon start having white seeds? Is this real watermelon? It don't taste as sweet as it used to. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. They really taking out the black and they making it white. White seeds. What the fuck? Can I plant this? Will it grow? I highly doubt it.
Brennan, who has Down syndrome, has wanted to be a cop since he was a kid.
You know why I pulled you over?
'Cause I was speeding?
No, 'cause you're black.
Well, he's properly trained. We know that much.
First and foremost, fuck you, Corky.
No, because you're black.
You know why we defund your ass? That's why we should defund your motherfucking ass. But guess what? We can't. You have to pay to get there to work every day. Fuck you, Corky. Anyway,
Shit.
that is an interesting question, yo. I don't fucking eat watermelon, but I do wonder
I fucking love watermelon.
what happened to the black seeds, though.
Well, that is a process of pulling the watermelons when they're not ripe. So they're not fully developed, so they don't get all the nutrients and get that nice dark seed in them. as before. They would let them get to a later stage in growing, so it would be more developed, and then it sits obviously at the supermarket for a while. Now they pull them younger so they can sit at the supermarket for longer periods of time. And as well, the GMOs and growth hormones and shit that they spray, nutrients that they put in the soil. It's like those wildebeest chickens, you know? Like a natural chicken grows and it's at a normal size. You know, but you take one of them GMO chickens and you give them the same time to grow and but you inject them with hormones and you feed them with all of these extra shits and you get a fucking
Super gremlin.
Super gremlin, yeah. Well, you get a fucking Kodak Black. Where you can't even ask, do you want white meat or dark meat? It's all burnt. Get out the mud.
Yeah, that might be like a skull. This is fucked up, man.
Yeah.
So obviously, the food, like you said, is being added chemicals, all this stuff, but yet we're still eating it. She's sitting there asking, what's up with the fucking watermelon? But takes a bite. And it's just like you said, it's not developed yet. It's added some shit. Maybe we shouldn't be eating it.
Do we have alternatives?
We do. We just don't want to.
Can we afford them? Or are we willing to make 2 trips?
That's the thing.
Instead of going to Walmart, now you go to Myers and then go to Whole Foods or Pete's Food Market.
Right.
Or your local garden.
Right.
You know? Or are you a lazy fuck that's going to get a nice fresh watermelon from Walmart, and you're also going to go get a bag of Funyuns, and you're going to get a loaf of white bread, and you're going to go get the big tub of Tang, and you're going to go and get the 12-pack of applesauce. You know, it's like, but you want to complain because the watermelon doesn't have black seeds.
Exactly.
It's like, no, let's call ourselves for what we are. We are unhealthy in every way, shape, or form. We don't drink enough water. We don't take vitamins. We don't go out for walks. We don't go out and be in the sun. We don't, we don't stretch. We don't take a second when you wake up to gather your thoughts and get your brain going. We don't do none of that.
We don't do our due diligence.
But when it comes time to, well, why are you that way? Oh, it's not my fault. It's because the supermarket doesn't have seeds in their fucking watermelon. It's like, how the fuck does that make sense? I'm this size and I look this way. Not because of the grocery store. Is that not the truth?
It's the truth.
Yeah, I'm okay with the truth. I'm okay with the truth.
It's funny to be told that, you're supposed to have a healthy diet and you get all this stuff that you're supposed to get, but you get it from the place that manufactures false healthy shit. And then you say, well, I did my part. I ate the healthy shit I was told to eat. Yeah, but you got it from a place that was endorsed by Popeyes. So what? Deep fried tofu.
I got a pot pie.
Right.
It's got carrots and green beans.
Well, don't tell me. Tell Trader Joe's.
Right.
No.
It's like, and that's why you get those vegans and those vegetarians that are truth seekers, and they always wave their flag of righteousness. But most people that eat right and live right and are about that don't bother because they are living right. And that mentality doesn't fall into place with that.
That's why I respect people like Maya and Waka Flocka. Like, they don't go around preaching and pushing people and preaching their lifestyle. They do it and they live by that example. They're not worried about whether you're catching on or not because they're growing their own shit. Yeah, if you ask them, they'll tell you, and you'll be like, "Damn, why you look like that?" It's because I grow my own shit. I eat my own shit. I eat not my own shit, but I eat what I grow. I tend to my body, and I treat it as such. You don't see them at supermarket stores. You don't see them endorsing, any of these other food restaurants and stuff like that. Why? Because they know what they put into their bodies. And when Waka Flocka learned that shit, you don't see him in those same circles anymore because motherfuckers is like, yo, I'm trying to go to Fat Burger. Yeah, well, you know, you miss me with that.
Yeah.
I don't put that in my body. And you respect them as such. You don't see them in the news like that. You don't see them getting in court case. You don't see them in any drama. You don't see them fucking wilding out, spazzing out on anybody. But we'll notice them for how they look, but we won't notice how they take care of themselves. And you see them, they won't ask questions about what happened to this and what happened to that.
People get on fuck, man. Why the fuck do I always blank out when I'm about to make a statement? Dude with the feather.
Kevin Gates?
Kevin Gates.
Oh, that motherfucker.
He's wild, he's crazy, but you can see the transition in him, in his physicality, and how he takes care of himself, you know, in his frame of thought and like how he speaks. You know, you can see that there's some sort of evolution, you know. And then there's other people that are in that boat as well that you look at them and you're like you give that same face.
You look like you stopped eating lead. That's what he look like for me.
And that might be it.
That's just for me.
And that might be it. He stopped eating lead.
He stopped eating lead. He put a feather on and he got on a kabuki pantsuit or some shit. But I don't know. Maybe you know more about the journey than I do. But to me, look at that motherfucker stop eating lead. That's all it looked to me like. He stopped drinking fucking Aquafina. That's all I can tell from it. Now from here to wherever later on, I'll be watching and I'll see, you know, but I don't know. The jury's still out for me on Kevin Gates. I don't know, man. That's I don't know. Once you take the stance he took on eating booty, and it's just like, it's not even the fact that you take a stance on eating booty. It's just the fact that you said that shit like it should be added to your daily nutrients or some shit. I'm like, I don't know. The jury's out on me. I don't know. I have to see. But anyway, moving forward. Elon Musk bought Twitter. Purchased it wholesale. $43 billion. Whoo! And the world went ape shit. And I mean, when they said ape shit, they went ape shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, why does this motherfucker own Twitter? As if he earned and bought the fucking right to free speech or some shit. I had people actually saying that he bought the right to free speech. Yeah. How? How do you figure this? He doesn't control how you communicate.
But yet they did it over their Apple phone or their Microsoft phone or their what's the fucking system? Android system.
Over the Samsung, over their fucking LGs, their Kyotos, their fucking HTCs, all of you motherfuckers, even the ones on the Nokia.
It's the same shit. It's the same shit as the food.
You made a post without any interruptions to say, "Oh my God, Elon Musk took away my right to free speech." What you should have done
is you should have went to the tree in front of your house, took a shim and cut down a piece of wood and then shaved it into a very thin piece of finute wood. Then you should have burned something, took the coals and compressed them, and with your fingertip or a twig, wrote with that chalk on that piece of fine wood. And then folded it. And made another piece of paper out of this wood and inserted it into it. And then hopped in your galoshes and walked it across the town to every single person on your news feed or your Facebook feed and introduced it to them.
Let them know.
And let them know. What the fuck? Freedom of speech has been sold.
Circle
like
the
you
thumb,
can't.
circle the thumbs up if you agree.
I will be back here in 3 months yonder for a response. Hear ye, O matey.
You should have had a bell.
All right.
Just start shaking this shit, walking down the fucking street.
Like, it don't make sense, man. We're fucking hypocrites. Like, we sound stupid. Like, if you really listen to people, like, we look and sound fucking stupid.
We do. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I was waiting for someone to actually give me a solid reason to be concerned, to care. And then it happened.
Dennis Rodman went to North Korea again.
No. He did, but no. No. If Dennis Rodman would explain, I ain't gonna lie, I would have listened.
Yeah.
I would have listened. Just to hear him do that shit. But someone who I find very articulate and actually very humorous, but at the same time, he always finds a way to present things like this in a subtle way by also showing you both sides of the spectrum. And he didn't necessarily disagree, but he did say, you have to call it for what it is. This is pretty crazy. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy thing that just happened. Of course, this gentleman is a Comedy Central host of a popular show, of course, The Daily Show, and I'm talking about Trevor Noah.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Why?
He's another one of those over-opinionated.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
No.
But he makes a little bit more sense than most.
Always,
So I can stomach him.
I don't feel like he's as opinionated as Jon Stewart is. Jon Stewart was like way more opinionated than he was. But I feel like Trevor Noah, to me, he does let you know where he stands on things, but when it comes to like news like this, he does attack it from a avenue that you probably didn't see it before. And he does present things in a way where, when we talk about, how everybody's pro this, he's the kind of one that comes out and just says, well, whoa, wait a minute. Let me show you a side you didn't see. And then, he gives you free range to go from there.
Let's see.
So check this out. This is what Trevor Noah had to say about Elon Musk purchasing Twitter.
Let's check it out.
We'll come back to it.
So here's the thing. Look, whether you are for Elon Musk or against him, you've got to admit, it is pretty crazy that one man is now in control of all of that. Because before this, Jack Dorsey didn't own Twitter. A lot of people think he did. No, he had 2% of the shares. And even as CEO, he still had to answer to the board. And the board still had to answer to the shareholders. And Twitter itself still had to answer to the SEC. But now as a private company, it's just Elon Musk. Yeah, everything that happens on Twitter from now on is up to him. And also whatever strain his weed guy gives him that day. I'm just saying, if he gets the wrong sativa, there could be a race war, people. Prepare yourselves. Like, this is the thing. Whether it's a billionaire you like or a billionaire you hate, as a society, I think we should spend more time interrogating how easy it is for billionaires to shape our world in their favor. Just think about it. You like it now, you don't like it now, but should they be able to do it? I don't know.
Valid.
When he presented it like that, that's when I started to look at it and say, he has a fucking strong point on that. Because if I was a billionaire and I purchased a social media company where the owner literally, like you said, only owned 2%, and he had a board of people that he trusted advisement from to let him know those were ideas to pass around, ideas to consider. When you think about what Twitter has been since or up to this point, people who got on there to share their xenophobic, thoughts and ideas. Even our former president, Donald Trump, who got on there and cite so many different things and tirades to just go number one trending, they shut that shit down. For a while, Twitter did their due diligence to police or to prevent as much of that intoxicating shit that you would see on Instagram, that you would see on TikTok, that you would see on Facebook. That was not the case on Twitter. When people got banned or kicked off of Twitter or shut down, everybody knew it. When motherfuckers posted toxic shit, they made sure not only for it to trend on Twitter, but it trended on other social media platforms as well, so that people who fucking spew out bullshit like that, got their chance to be seen and recognized for either their accomplishments or their fuck ups. And if they went too far, they got kicked off.
Not always, because they didn't always get it right. Like
Who they get it wrong for?
They banned people. Like, take for instance, I don't know the exact names or the people involved, but when transgenders in sports started becoming a thing, there was a woman, a born woman, who said, that was a doctor in that field or in the studies of sports, and and she voiced her opinion on how transgender or men that changed their gender to join for whatever reason they did it, that they should have their own avenue, that they should not be allowed to compete for X, Y, Z reason physically based on science. And they pulled her off of Twitter because she was ensuing hate speech. But everything she was saying was factual.
Yeah.
So that in itself is like, okay, you can't say you're going to be, the guardian of this platform, but yet you're eliminating a point of view that has a lot of valid reasons on why it should be able to be listened and seen by the masses.
But was she pulled off for stating those reasons, or was she pulled off for
just for having that opinion?
Or was she pulled off for the people that were agreeing in what they said? Because at the same time,
they pulled her off just for the basis of having that point of view. Like, she explained herself and was for positive education and conversation and dialogue in regards to that topic. But they just said, no, we don't have time for anything. It is what it is. They're included.
Okay. So, needless to say, obviously Twitter was ran by a board. So would it be fair to say on that board, there were people included on that board that, of course, aside from either feel a certain way differently on that topic, but also those that feel part of that topic. So is it safe to say that there was representation on that board to feel that way?
Possibly.
Okay.
But even if there is representation on the board, how often do you change this board?
I mean, granted, but still, there's still representation there. So if you take away that board and you solely put Elon Musk, who's to say your representation is there?
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the same shit. It's just
actually it'd be worse because
it's just based on one person now, on one frame of thought.
So with a billionaire having that much control, now granted, we're not saying he controls free speech. We're still not giving that up.
Unless you want to get a Java in Bayview or River West, you have to if you see it that way.
But having someone like Elon Musk over Twitter and having the control to say, nah, this can be taken. This should be taken away. This shouldn't be allowed to be posted on Twitter. Having that does appear as something very, very concerning, I would say, because I know Elon Musk has had his moments where he's fucking done and said some shit.
Yeah, doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
He's human. As bright and
the jury's still out on him and Zuckerberg on that one.
I would say Musk is he at least has
like a human hybrid. I don't know.
Even if that skin does degenerate and he has to switch it once a month, at least he's not Zuckerberg, who's complete plastic.
Oh man,
and just fucking like you remember those old school little lamps with the fibers? I think he's made out of that shit. I remember that shit in the 90s. The whole lamping is just little fibers. Yeah, that's what Mark Zuckerberg's made out of.
I think between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, they should just have a fucking Android fight off, right? And whoever wins controls social media. That's as simple as that.
But it would be sued by the Apple company because you called it an Android.
Oh, fuck these guys. Well, then he should jump in the battle. Well,
that in itself is the point that Trevor Noah was trying to make. Yeah. Are billionaires and should billionaires be allowed to manipulate and guide the direction of humanity?
I mean,
and I think it's
they shouldn't.
They shouldn't, but who's going to stop them?
Yeah, like
who?
Like if there's a way to
Cube
stop
tried
them from
And what did we do? We chastised them.
And canceled
as our own person and canceled them.
But the reason why is because of when he chose to do it and his motivations behind it. That was what
he wanted the big three to be the official sport of the United States.
Like you can't do it when it's opportunistic for you. You can't do it then. You have to do it when it's right for the country. And it's not to say that he didn't. It's just that's why people, jumped on him the way they did.
But it's the same
and there was a lot of people that backed him because I was one of the people that backed him and everything. But there was a lot of other people that felt it was opportunistic. And it's stupid, but that's
it's the same shit as the food, man. It's motherfuckers have an opinion about somebody else's actions and are willing and able and think they know better of when is the right or wrong time to do shit, but they don't do shit.
Right.
So they get mad at somebody that's actually doing shit, and if they do shit when you ain't doing shit and you ain't got time to be a part of that shit, you get mad because you ain't doing shit. And they it just doesn't make sense. It's just
in my honest opinion, and then we can move on to the next one. If you really feel that strongly about Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, and you feel like he shouldn't have that kind of access, and no billionaire should, if you feel that way about Mark Zuckerberg, if you feel that way about Elon Musk, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you should have logged off, canceled your accounts, and had that shit off your phone.
Realistically.
If you feel that strongly about your freedom of speech and you feel that a billionaire should not have access to your social media, get off of social media.
And I think there's a possibility that Elon Musk is going to surprise everybody. And he as well is going to get a table, and he's going to put influential people at that board. So you might see
that way too, but I was worried he might put Kanye West.
That's what I'm saying. You are going to see you're going to see the first round, obviously, it's like anything. The first round is a trial. So you are going to see somebody like a Kanye West sit at that table.
Yep.
And he's going to fuck it up. But you learn through trial and error. Because you might get that Kanye, and Kanye might bring the fucking Dalai Lama or some shit. Or some Nobel Peace Prize winner that actually won it, not just because they were pushing a fucking trend, Miss Greta, Like get an actual scientist that knows the research.
Kids. He's like, fuck that kid.
Like she's raises valid points, but she's not somebody that I'm gonna hold to a high esteem just because she has a point of view.
She's a kid.
Good for her. Grow, mature. Have her earn her shit. Don't just give her a participation trophy.
No, I'm saying
let her learn the science. Let her evolve her views.
I'm not gonna look at her and then hold her to a high standard. She's a kid. It's great that you have a point of view and you're able to speak on that platform, but I'm not gonna hold you to a standard of Martin Luther fucking King just because you got on the fucking stage that he did and say some shit. I'm not looking at her to be that. I'm like, okay, it's great. You have a point of view. I'll holler at you when you're 18. I'll see what you're like when you're 22. When you live in the world.
But that's my approach. Don't give her every single fucking humanitarian award just because she's a kid with an opinion. Where you have an actual scientist that can back that opinion and really give that same opinion some substance and some research and some time behind it.
I think they gave her that not because of the fact that she's a kid, but more so
because of her facial expressions.
No, because of where she came from. I think it's more so a location thing. They're like, oh, you could be that eloquent from there. Like I feel like it was really just one of those things that was just like.
If that's the case, you give it to the Indian girl that got fucking raped and fucking shot in the face, and speaks on humanitarian functions, and obviously they put her to a pedestal, but they didn't give her that pedestal of, all be known.
Of course, you know why? Because she's brown.
Well, there you go. Same again. Then why don't
listen,
why don't we all disconnect
listen,
and
I'm
back out
I'm
from
Draymond,
everything?
I'm like Draymond Green. If you kick a guy in the nuts in the middle of a game, he got suspended out the finals for that. Suspend that motherfucker out the playoffs. When that shit happened last night, the other night, then Draymond stepped off the fucking bench and was like, "Hey, fuck that! I got damn near kicked out the finals for that shit. Hold on, review that shit. Fuck that. Like we lost a ring on a damn near almost perfect season for that shit right there. You gonna kick me out, but because that motherfucker different, you gonna let him play? Fuck that." I agree.
And that is the type of people that we, as people that are part of this fucking machine, are supposed to champion and give them that platform, as opposed to, like you said, the alternative, just because they're a lighter shade than we are. You know, and I think that is where your point is valid, where us as people within this machine need to make the decision: are we either in or are we out? And nobody's willing to be in or out because we don't do shit, ain't about shit, and we don't want to make those decisions to commit to one way or the other.
Well, let me ask you this. Since we're on the subject of in and out, let's move on to this next
double
one.
cheeseburger.
Not in and out. Let's bring us to this next subject.
Okay.
Now, this one's going to hit a little close to home, but we're going to use him as an example. Because we're going to talk about Mac Miller for a minute.
Oh, shit.
Now,
that's all the time we have today. I'm about to go mourn.
This one's either gonna have you mourning, or it's gonna get you thinking, or it's gonna bother the fuck out of you and annoy the shit out of you. But there's a popular theory going around of an act in the dark world of celebrity called templates.
Oh, okay.
Now, the reason why I said Jordan Peele might have been up to something or might have been onto something was because if you remember in Us, the film was talking about doppelgangers, a world in which versions of ourselves exist, waiting for a chance to come up to the real world. Now, as funny of a premise as that is to be in a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, let's examine a certain belief that's being spread underground in the celebrity world among the people. You see, on social media, they believe, along with conspiracy theorists, about this act called templates. And in this act, it's saying that celebrities, no matter what they do, some people are cast with the ability of being able to be different versions of themselves in plain view. So a person like Mac Miller, who we've seen, as a hip hop artist and everything like that, we've seen him grow, we've seen him achieve, heights in his career, we've seen him gain love, we've seen him lose love, we've seen him pour and eke out personal things of himself on wax, on the screen, in visuals and music videos. And then he passed away. Or did he? Did we lose Mac Miller? Or did we just lose that character? And the real version of that person is just playing a different character. Sounds confusing, right? Sounds like some shit you would see on the Twilight Zone or some type of Euphoria or some type of Twin Peak or even Atlanta. But just to drive that point home, let's show them this next video.
I want to see this shit.
Check this out.
Here we go.
So I've always been into conspiracy theories, clones, sacrifices, all that stuff, right? And then I came across something called templates. So I was going down the rabbit hole looking at all these examples of what a template is. Basically, it is a one celebrity that plays several characters. Once one character is done, you're either killed off, sacrificed, whatever it may be, and then you take on the role of someone else. So I found it crazy that the moment I started watching Euphoria, love that show, I always thought how crazy the similarities between Mac Miller and Angus Cloud are, even to like their swag. So I always used to joke like, oh, that's Mac Miller Twitter page, and didn't really think about it. They replied and said, they might look into it, whatever. Didn't expect anything, and then, wow. I have to show you guys this respect.
Yeah, we've got Angus Cloud and Mac Miller. I don't actually know Angus Cloud. I believe he's an actor. Mac Miller I've heard of, but I don't know his music too well. And I know a lot of people will probably get offended by this because, yeah, I believe Mac Miller is quite popular and a lot of people think he was sacrificed. Let me explain something. These people do not get sacrificed. They don't sacrifice their stars. Understand that. These people simply retire from fame or they kill off their character to play another character. And here you've got Sam Smith. And, I mean, yeah, there's a likeness between all three of them, in all fairness. Not 100%, as I never am with these videos. I'd never say to anyone, oh, yes, this is 100%, because, quite honestly, I don't know. But, yeah, pretty interesting matchup either way.
So a lot of the times I see under these videos, people will comment and say, but the nose is different, the eyes are different, the ears are different, the eyebrows are different. But what you got to remember is these people are wearing prosthetics. Now, I totally get that. I'd never say to anyone these videos are 100%, but you got to remember these people are acting. So when they act as their other characters, of course they're going to look slightly different.
Now, I do watch Euphoria. I do listen to Sam Smith. I am a fan of Mac Miller. There are some glaring differences between all three men. However, there are some very strong similarities between them.
I'm gonna give you a very controversial answer here.
What do you think?
We experienced that here at Hidden Heart Radio, where we're a certain way, we act a certain way, we proceed in business in a certain way, and when we turn our back, woof, there's a clone. Somebody that's doing and walking and acting in the exact same fashion and way that we were just doing. So is that a template? Are we the original template? Because then when you look the other way, then they're doing exactly what you were doing while you were facing in the other direction.
It depends.
So are we a template?
If we're first, then we're the original. And they would be the template.
Wow, but are they in their eyes?
Well, which one would they be, the chicken or the egg?
It's weird. No, when it comes to this, I call bullshit. I call bullshit all the way through. I thought they were going to go in a whole different direction that I could have possibly agreed with. But this shapeshifter, one person getting fucking bone scrapes to look a little different, I call that bullshit. Mac Miller is dead. Mac Miller is dead. The guy from Euphoria might look like him, but that's because we're in a world where there's so many possibilities and facial features are usually very similar within that race. Now,
have you heard this man speak?
It don't matter. Speech and that it doesn't matter. You can't. That's like saying the same theory that Tupac is still alive. And Jordan, you talk about basketball, and it's conspiracy theories that really hinder actual theories that should be conspired on. Like, I think it's just like the rubbish, the fucking the filaments at the bottom of the fucking cup. Like, I think it's just shit that people shouldn't spend time dabbling in because there's nothing there. To me, this right here.
So you're saying that will be virtually impossible?
Not that it's impossible.
So how can it be bullshit?
I don't think that anybody in existence is really taking the time to do that.
Now, I will
That's
agree.
like saying
I will
Gucci
agree
Man.
that- I will agree
That's
that-
like saying Gucci Man is a clone.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
That's.
I will agree that
this
their
is
choice in who they feel is being templated is off. But to say that that whole process is bullshit, I can't throw that out. I can't say that wouldn't be something that would happen to someone more powerful or someone more important. But I will say it's bullshit to say that it would happen to Gucci Mane or Mac Miller. Unless
in regards to
version
that,
of Mac
the
Miller
only
was in importance.
universe or space that I would see something like this would transpire where somebody tries to change their look or try to look like something is if they're trying to escape something and be something completely different. For somebody to take the time to replace something else,
you might have added another wing because Mac Miller was trying to escape.
Yeah. Now, if you tell me Mac Miller changed and then he went somewhere else to get away and be away from the spectrum, then okay. That's why believing that Tupac is still alive and he's somewhere in fucking Cuba, in my mind, I was like, well, maybe there's a universe where that works out and that might be true. But for somebody that's already fucking there, like Mike Miller was, and he fucking ended up dead, for him to say, all right, I faked my death and I'm going to come back to the exact same shit that was fucking destroying me. And I'm going to do it with a different name and a different platform. Like, nah, that's stupid. That's just stupid.
It's stupid to think that, yes, that someone who was suffering from drug abuse would go back to the world in which he lived, unless it was all for fame. Because you got to admit, yes, there are people out there that are celebrities that suffer from drug abuse. There are people out there that suffer from, real life trauma. And then there are those who use or pretend to suffer from those traumas in order to fulfill an image. And if you notice, those that do can tend to leave those behind and say, well, I'm a survivor of this or I'm a survivor of that. I'm not ruling it out and saying that there's no way that's possible to happen. What I'm saying, I'm saying that can be something that can be done in celebrities. It's not that hard to believe in Hollywood or in that world of music, entertainment. It's not that hard to believe. In the same world where they will take a person that's dead, make a holograph, and then sell tickets like it's fucking, oh yeah, just come on out. Because people will come see it. People are so drawn to celebrities and to watching them. We may not feel like that, but I'm not speaking from my aspect. I'm speaking from what I see other people do. And those folks are the ones that buy the tickets. Those are the ones that will buy and watch those shows and watch them religiously and buy the music and download the music and re-download the music and get those.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I really don't think that anybody in Hollywood would take the time or the effort to go in that direction. So now the government. So you don't. Now the government.
Wait. But that's what I'm saying. That's the government relies on. Listen, the government has always used entertainment to push propaganda. It goes back to even back in the day.
So then Elvis is Mac Miller.
Now you're just reaching.
All this shit is a reach.
How is it?
It's fucking bullshit.
How is it hard to imagine? So you would believe that there's no possible way that they would clone a celebrity?
In a world with so many people and an evolving celebrity world and what is in and what is out, why would anybody invest in something that was hot in 2011 and try to revamp it with the same person moving forward when you can just develop something completely new?
Exactly. But if that's the case, then there wouldn't be no reason to reboot movies.
That's a reach.
How? You just said it. And I'll even give you an example. If you don't believe that they would clone someone that they don't need to clone, play the next video.
It better not be a clip from an Arnold movie.
Oh no, it's a clip from an actual NBA playoff game. Because guess what? Usher met his clone live on television.
All right. I'll indulge you.
Check this out.
Check this bullshit out.
Jim, are you seeing double? Okay. Double minus the change on the other side of.
Wow. They had some physical similarities.
I'm surprised you didn't say it was evil Usher.
No.
Like you say evil Dave Chappelle. Or evil Mekhi Phifer.
No, it's all bullshit. That's all in fun and games. Like, if you want to be literal about it, no, that's just another motherfucker that got similar features. Just like Lil Durk has that fucking his clone double.
Durk didn't make confessions.
Man.
Durk didn't make confessions. How many people were
Why
confused?
would you want to be a fucking herpes infested clone? Why would you want to be a clone, or why would you make a clone of somebody that is that? To take away the herpes? Then you would get rid of the original and swap-a-roo. Like, it's a reach. I'm good on this thing. I'm good.
Does it not bother you, the fact?
Not at all.
That it could be possible?
No.
So, let's just say, as a celebrity, like if you became a celebrity, and like Usher, just watching TV, and you happen to see somebody on TV, because this is what happened. He's watching the game. This guy, Ja Morant's father, that's Ja Morant's father, by the way. He's actually at the Memphis game. He has a thing where he would go up and dap up with
the other
Karl Anthony
dads.
Towns' father. And they would meet up at half court, dap each other up, and then sit down. During one of those games, they actually tagged him as Usher. There was a bunch of people saying, damn, Usher is Ja Morant's dad, to the point they had to invite Usher down to come and sit next to him just to show how similar they look. Now, true. Granted, a lot of people out there were confused. Why? Because Ja Morant's father actually looks like Usher with the sunglasses off and everything. Very confusing. To the point Usher was even like, God damn. And made it out like, I need to come down there. I need to find a way down there to meet this guy. Just for that simple fact. Now, granted, he may not have been a clone. He wasn't. But I'm saying that to say this. It was basically just a joke with him, mess with him for a little bit. But I'm not going to take an industry that specializes in not only just technology, but also in fabricating and reminiscing on things that we had in the past and trying very, very hard to cut costs and to cut corners in keeping that image alive. I'm not gonna sit here and say that that the government has nothing to do with entertainment.
Not in celebrity though.
No, I'm not gonna. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit that the government would never be involved in entertainment.
No, I'm saying
in that regard.
They would be involved in entertainment, but what, like I'm saying, a celebrity gets outdated. Like who? What celebrity is worthy of that in today's time to have that, to be able to push forward? You gonna clone Kanye?
Why wouldn't they? He's got the following. If you have a strong enough following, I don't see why they would rule you out.
I think the only celebrity, if this were true, that would be worthy of cloning would be somebody at Kanye's level.
And see, you're talking cloning
or replacing
what they're saying is the same person that plays that's Mac Miller. Mm-hmm. That's just a character that he's playing. Once that character's done, they kill that character off. He slides into another role. They're saying that the same person as Mac Miller,
but there's no influence. I don't see. Mac Miller was great. His music was great. He had a following. He made people feel a certain type of way. But nothing about him tells me that it warrants him being switched off into something else that's similar to what he was.
Because you're looking at Mac Miller as the main character.
I'm just the example you're giving me.
Right.
I'm just saying in any other aspect of celebrity, I don't see anybody that is worthy outside of someone like Kanye, who has political influence, who has social influence, that has that deep, or a Jay-Z, or those type of
Beyonce
people.
Isn't, Tyler Perry isn't, Elon Musk isn't.
Elon Musk is not a celebrity. He is a celebrity by today's standards, but he is not in the entertainment world as a celebrity. So I would consider him more of an influencer, as a scientist, as somebody that plays a role. Now that's more believable to me. Taking somebody like that and offing them and turning them into something else, maybe. But a celebrity, nah.
A celebrity to me is someone who is toted out there on the public, and not necessarily somebody that entertains, but a celebrity is somebody that is used to sell magazines, to sell the idea of joining things and stuff like that. When you are used as a face to sell products, to move attention, to get people involved in what you do, that to me is a celebrity, not just someone who entertains.
But who is congruent in the span of time that you can say really fits that?
A lot.
Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Tom Cruise, maybe.
You think he's the only one?
Really? Like, realistically? What does he sell?
I think your list is shorter than mine, because honestly, there's a lot of people that can be used that way.
I guess I don't fuck with celebrities like that, or influenced by celebrities in that regard.
See, that's what I'm saying. You're focused just on you.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about other people.
But we're talking about the way the world sees them.
But in the masses, to the world, everything always changed. So the investment into that really doesn't make sense.
How?
Because it doesn't. Because it's forever changing. So
Mac Miller's been dead how long?
About maybe 5 years, maybe.
His albums still sell, though, don't they? They may not sell as much as it did when it was alive, but people are still buying them enough for people to still put them out. And we may feel like they're not the same quality, but they're still getting downloaded. Euphoria is a popular show today. Sam Smith is a pop singer, popular.
That was
today.
alive while Mac Miller was alive.
Exactly.
This kid was alive while Mac Miller was alive.
They didn't
so
say,
how do they take
they didn't
someone
say he
like
jumped and died and then he became Sam Smith. They said he always was Sam Smith. That's what I'm saying. It's like Eddie Murphy playing multiple roles.
So
that's what they're saying.
So Sam Smith was Sam Smith and Mac Miller, and was this kid growing up wherever the fuck he was from.
Did we see him grow up? We never saw this kid grow up.
So
that's what I'm saying. He just came out of nowhere and he gets on HBO.
So Sam Smith does two roles. He is Sam Smith and Mac Miller, right?
Yeah.
And now he's this kid on Euphoria. Nah.
We never seen this kid before.
How would we? He's a new celebrity.
Exactly.
So why? That's stupid. That's the stupidest shit
Come out
ever.
of nowhere and gets on a popular HBO
If you
show
go outside and you
with
see the fucking crackhead.
Okay.
Oh,
But is he on HBO?
Whoa, crackhead. But did we see him become a crackhead?
No.
Okay, but he's a crackhead. That's stupid.
How?
That's stupid.
How? What was the point in that, though?
Exactly.
You just saw a crackhead.
Exactly.
You said there's a crackhead
Sam
outside.
Smith,
But
the
do
new
we-
kid.
Now, if we see that crackhead on HBO and he's outside,
so we need
now we got something to talk about. If I just see him outside,
So we
just
need
see him
the home
outside.
video of fucking Mac Miller coming out of his mom's crotch, and the video from Sam Smith coming out of his mom's crotch, so that we can clear the theory that Sam Smith is not indeed Mac Miller, and now he's this kid on Euphoria.
Well, I mean, based on your point, yeah.
That makes no sense. That's stupid.
Based on your point, that's the proof we would need to say they weren't the same person.
He's a kid that went to acting or school and whatever and got a role on a show, and it just happens to look like two other white guys that have the same haircut.
But that's your story. That's not his story. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. We can't say.
We do. You can't go to Sam Smith and look at his interviews. Oh, I grew up in Europe or wherever the fuck he's from, and my mom and dad are this. So what? That's not true?
To that point, That's what they're saying.
That's what I'm saying. That point is fucking stupid.
How's that stupid? Is it really that unbelievable that somebody could pretend to be something that they're not?
With there being proof that they're not, and you still want to keep...
Where's the proof, though? That's what I'm saying. We didn't see any proof. You haven't looked at any proof. I haven't looked at any proof that says that they are three different people. They presented what they think. It's a theory.
What proof?
That's what I'm saying. It's a theory.
Based on what?
It's not like... All I'm saying is...
Okay, so the Keebler elves go into every single watermelon and replace the black seeds with white ones.
Is that your belief?
That's the theory.
That's your theory.
That theory.
That you presented.
Exactly.
You're presenting that Keebler elves.
And now I'm going to make everybody else believe that theory as well.
So you're going to make everybody believe that watermelons grow on trees.
Yes.
Where the Keebler elves
underground.
Hang out.
In Raccoon City.
Okay. Underground Raccoon City.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid to me. It's stupid to me. I got more important shit to put my...
Well, I didn't say you have to hedge your thought on it, but it's a theory, and this is Conspiracy History Thursday.
No, and I love it. I just think people like that are fucking stupid.
I can't rule that out because I'm not going to sit here and deny that we don't have the technology or the fucking personnel out there that would consider doing this.
I don't know. I think people that spend their time on frivolous or theories like that are really doing themselves a disservice. They should go get a hobby. Yes, they are. In my point of view. And like I said, I fend for myself so they can do what they want. Just don't come at me with no bullshit because I'm not about it.
So what if they're right? And you do happen to see it later on. I'm just saying,
if they're right,
and hypothetically, do I get to pull up this episode
as co-creator of the Method Lab? You can quote me, and I will definitely on that episode be like, "Damn, okay, I was wrong."
So, ladies and gentlemen,
thank you for making me realize that I was wrong.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm okay with that. I have no problem with being wrong.
Those that are watching,
yes.
If you find any doppelgangers out there that look like Giovanni Amador,
yes.
Reach out to us here.
Because there can only be one. And I'm going to cut his fucking head off.
Any doppelgangers out there that look like Jill, we're accepting face applications.
You know how many times motherfuckers come up to me and be like, "Oh, you look like such and such." I used to work with a guy that looks just like such and such.
I still forgot. There was a picture that came out a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
Jill's doppelganger grabbing the titty.
Yeah. Yep.
And everybody believed it was him.
I almost got a divorce before I got a divorce because of that picture.
And the fucked up thing is, it looked just like him.
It did.
It looked just like him.
And they wore Rockaware just like I did.
Just like him. Had the hair, everything.
And he actually gripped the titty just like I would too.
Made the same face and all.
Yeah.
And when you saw that picture, when you first saw that picture, what went through your mind?
I was like, damn, that motherfucker looked like me. But I know it wasn't me.
But it was a motherfucker that looked like you. And it made you wonder.
No, it didn't make me wonder shit.
No, I'm talking about like it made you wonder about people out there that look like you.
That's a common. There's only so many ways you can look.
Oh, I know. I've met my doppelganger before.
Yeah. So
I actually ended up going to the same high school as my doppelganger.
Oh, that's cool.
I was in St. Francis, and I came a year after they had left.
Now, do I wish that I was at Magic Mountain gripping his wife's titty? Yes.
I don't know if that was his wife. I think
or
he
whatever.
grabbed a random chick.
No, then I wouldn't want to be that because I'm all for consent.
The way he did it, he was just like,
I'm all for consent. So no, that wouldn't have been me in that regard.
It's funny 'cause I
but
came
if it was
across that
consensual, I think I still have it on my Facebook.
I don't think it was with that lady when he grabbed that titty. That's why I was just tripping up there. I was like, damn, that's so funny. Because I knew
the fucked up part. All right, we'll end it with this. When that picture came out or came to my attention was 2011. I was in college.
Yes.
So granted, my family, my wife and my kids lived up here. I lived in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I got the call. What the fuck is this? I was like, what the fuck you mean? What's this? What is this? Then I see the picture. I'm like, oh.
Why the oh?
Because it looked like me. I was like, oh, well, that's obviously not me because I'm here. fucking eating fucking Frito-Lay chips 3 weeks in a row to fucking get through college. And plus, I've never been to fucking Florida. The furthest fucking south I've been at that point in my life was probably the tip of Illinois. So that definitely wasn't me. So yeah, that's the inside scoop on that picture.
So
we'll post it. We'll post it to the chat room. I don't give a fuck.
We'll post
I'm
it
no
to the
longer
room
married.
and let us know.
And if you like the way I grip that boob, well then
we're gonna post a picture on the Method Lab
Kung
chat
Fu
group
grip.
and see if you look at the picture yourself and you take a vote. Is it Gio or is it a doppelganger? Is it Gio's alter ego
in Florida?
Hector grabbing underboob in fucking Magic Mountain. Hector the titty grabber from Magic Mountain.
Right. Consent, ladies.
He's playing characters.
Consent.
Technically, it
Ain't
wasn't
that
Gio.
funny?
It's a character.
Ain't that funny that saying consent is an attractive feature now?
Consent, ladies.
Consent, ladies.
Consent.
I'm all
Hashtag.
about the consent.
Hashtag I ask.
All of them. Hell yeah, shit. Fuck all that rapey shit. All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun episode.
Yes, indeed.
We are out.
Later.
My fucking cheeks hurt. The ones on my face too, you sick bastards.
What you doing still in bed, man? Yo, you need to punch in for that morning shift MKE with Sair right here on HiddenHeartRadio.com exclusively from 10 to 2 p.m. Check it out, man. You're missing out.
Do you have a product or project or establishment that you need to promote? Let us help you get noticed. Take advantage of Hidden Heart Radio's Artist and Business of the Week April sale for $300. HiddenHeartRadio.com brings over 80,000 listeners a week in front of your art, craft, and or business. For more information, contact Sair at 414-502-7808. Once again, 414-502-7808. For all your advertising needs from the pulse of the city, HiddenHeartRadio.com.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. to OG Gotti and Fire in the Streets exclusively here on HiddenHeartRadio.com.
The METHOD Lab.